So if somebody tells you that, oh, I live in London and I pay £100 a month, ask the person, which part of London? What if it's in zone 7 at the border, London border? And what if the person is living in a cubicle, like just a small cubicle, and telling you that I'm paying £100? You have to ask for pictures, videos, and you want to see it for yourself. Because when it is too good to be true, then you're right, it's too good to be true. Hey people, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Couscous, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is another accommodation video. We're going to be comparing between student halls and private accommodations. Where should you stay? So if you are confused, you don't know what to do, you don't know if you should stay in a university hall, university accommodation, or private student accommodation, or private apartments in total, sit tight and watch this video, because we are going to highlight the differences in these choices, and that way it's gonna guide you based on your preference. Okay, you want to give this video a thumbs up. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, I really wonder what you're waiting for. Do well to subscribe, and also don't forget to share our videos to all your friends and all the people that you know on your timeline who would need this information. And let's get into the video. If you want to stay in a private accommodation, private apartment, maybe like 2-bedroom flat somewhere, 3-bedroom flat, 5-bedroom flat, and maybe all of you have your friends and you guys want to stay there, and the majority of the landlords usually ask for a guarantor. A guarantor who resides in UK, and that person guarantees that if you don't pay your rent, that person is going to pay your rent on your behalf. So that is what most of us encountered when we were trying to look for private accommodations before we came. Most of the landlords asked for guarantors. But these private firms, like the firms I talked about that offer strictly student accommodation, those ones, majority of them do not need guarantors, because they understand that we are students, and most of the students in UK are international students. So those ones are a bit friendly. They don't really enforce or insist on the guarantor. But if you want a private accommodation that you're going to pay for, a flat that is not meant for students, it's just a random home, you're going to pay for it yourself and your flatmates, you would need a guarantor, and the person has to reside in UK, and the person has to be capable of footing your rent in case of any default on your part. So that's what you need to take into consideration before you decide to proceed for private accommodations. Okay, as for social life, if you're somebody that really wants to be with people, be in a student-friendly environment, then a university accommodation may be the ideal place for you. And then if your university accommodation is too expensive, then private student halls would be ideal. But if you want to have your privacy, you have a family, you just want to be on your own, you want to stay away. I don't know why you want to stay away from student when you're a student, but if you just want to stay somewhere else other than student accommodation, then private places, private apartments will be okay for you. And maybe you have friends and you guys want to go rent an apartment, then that's fine. Basically, because in a university owned accommodation, a student accommodation, you're not guaranteed to stay with your friends. Everybody will apply and you'll get random allocations based on your preference. Nobody guarantees that, oh, they're going to put 5 of you in the same flat, 5 of you who are friends. But if you really want to stay with your friends, you can walk up to maybe this private student accommodations or normal private apartments, and you maybe 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom flats, and you stay there with your friends, and that serves you better. You are living with the people you know, no surprises, you are comfortable, and you guys will share the bills in that accommodation, and that's fine. Okay, because you're not guaranteed you're going to be able to stay with your friends in university accommodation, because it's automatic allocation and all of that. Even if they want to give it to you, what if the entire flat is not empty? What if other people are still there? So you can't really guarantee that. Okay, so another thing is study spaces and other facilities. Usually in university owned accommodations and private student accommodations, we have like study spaces, study rooms, where you can study. We have lounge where you guys can go probably sit, watch some movies and buy some drinks. You have like maybe in catered apartments, you have like cafeterias and all. And even in the school, you have restaurants around and everything. So you can, maximize those spaces. If you are tired of studying in your room, you can you can go to the study room, you can socialize, you can go, to the lounge and meet other people. But if you're staying in a private accommodation, I think it's just basically going to be the rooms and the sitting room as well. And especially if you're living with other people that are not students, then I don't know how that is because I don't have that experience too. But what I'm trying to say is that a student accommodation gives you options of either going to the library in school to study or studying within the accommodation, because there is a probability that there will be a study room apart from your own room, personal room. There will be common areas, that shared areas where you meet other people. But you can't guarantee that for a private accommodation. That means if you're tired of studying in your house, you have to pay your way all the way to a library or to school. But if you're staying in a private accommodation that's just a walkable distance to your school, yalla, you're covered. You don't have any problems. Let us talk about landlord issues. Landlord issues. I live in a university accommodation. If anything breaks down in my room, if anything goes bad in my kitchen, we immediately send an email and they'll tell you, oh, okay, maybe they'll give you the number of days it will take for them to come and fix it or so. So if you want to stay in a private accommodation, please ask your landlord, your proposed landlord or your agent, how long does it take to carry out repairs and maintenance? Who takes care of these bills, the repair and maintenance bills? Because me, once I pay for my monthly accommodation, I am not paying for any other thing in this place, okay? My Wi-Fi, my bills are taken care of. But if you're staying in a private accommodation, you need to understand whether what you are paying for is inclusive of bills, if the place is fully furnished, if you still have to bring in a lot of things, and who takes care of the maintenance of where you are staying, because if anything spoils, you will need to fix it. And also if there is good security, how far is it from school, how safe is the area, what's the distance to the train station, just take all those things into consideration. I don't want to repeat what I already said in my earlier video. So if you haven't watched that video, you need to go and watch it so that you understand the sequence of this video. With my knowledge, most student accommodation have disability friendly rooms, okay? And those ones are special. They do everything possible to accommodate anybody who would need such services. I can't assure you that for private accommodation because you have to confirm before you book, okay? Hey, the one that I really like is this Freebies. So I think that's what they actually used to how do I put it, to sway us. If you stay in a student accommodation, you're going to be enjoying freebies. For instance, if there are religious celebrations like Christmas, Easter, Chinese New Year, Indian New Year celebrations, anything religious and cultural celebrations, they usually just give us freebies. They can give us meals, maybe lunch, coffee. They can give you tickets for discounted meals, things like that. They just use it to spice up the accommodation, the environment. Sometimes they can give us free tissue. They say, okay, today is free tissue day. Pick up your tissue at the reception. When you're coming in, you just grab a tissue. Other days you see, oh, there are noodles in front of the reception. Pick one, and then you pick, and then you can just walk in one Friday night and you see drinks on the table, and they're like, take care of yourself with some drinks on a Friday night. So there are lots of freebies in a student accommodation that I cannot guarantee you in private accommodations. And I think, they also try to incorporate fun. They make memorable days, public holidays, religious celebrations, things like that, independent days, just different things to spice up your time. Although I know that it is like a great gift because they have taken your money, plenty of your accommodation fees in one hand. They are giving you those cheap freebies on the other hand. So, but I think they're just using it to compensate us. What can we do? We don't have a choice. We already booked the accommodation, so we have to make do with what we have. But sometimes they're nice because What if you didn't feel like cooking that day and then they usually send these emails ahead of time, tell you, oh, there'll be free pizza for everyone this so and so day, so please book your reservation, let somebody come and pick for the entire flat and all of that. But I can't guarantee you that for private accommodation, so you have to be mindful if you would like to enjoy some freebies. Okay, I already talked about guest policy. Because of COVID, some student accommodations didn't allow guests, but you may not be restricted if you're staying in a private accommodation. So if you know that you're going to be having lots of friends over, you're going to be having your parties or sleepovers, then you either have to take a student accommodation that allows that, or a private accommodation when you have confirmed that they will allow all of that. So let me talk about shared flats, okay? For instance, in a student accommodation, you are rest assured that whoever is your flatmates, if you're sharing kitchen or you're sharing toilets, if you want to know the difference between single, standard, and suite and studio apartment, I already shared it in my previous video. I don't want to repeat it so that I don't repeat too many content. So you can go and watch that video so you understand what it means. But so let's imagine that you are in an ensuite or single or standard apartment. You're definitely going to share some facilities like the kitchen, the living area, the sitting area or lounge. You're going to share that, and you are rest assured to stay with students. You're living with students. Everybody in that place are students. They share the same idea. You guys share the same vision. You guys do the similar things. You guys go to school, so you know how student life is. You basically understand each other. But if you're living in a private accommodation and it's not a place that you rented the entire building, maybe you and your friends, if you just go and live with random people in a private accommodation, you may have to share bills with them, and nobody's going to care if you're a student. As long as you're occupying the apartment with them, you're definitely going to pay bills with them. They might be workers, they might be just any set of people you don't know, you just live with them. Because if you're looking for like one room in a private accommodation, you may likely get one room in a 3-bedroom flat or one room in a 5-bedroom flat, and you have to share it with other people. You're not guaranteed that if it's a 3-bedroom flat, you have up to 2 toilets. It might just be one. So you have to be very careful. You have to be mindful of the people you're going to share the apartment with, the people you're going to share the facilities with, so you don't get yourself to, you're not upset about how things are going if they are not considerate of the fact that you are a student, okay? There are so many bills in London, and I don't think people really consider if you're a student or not. Let me talk about council tax, okay? Generally, in UK, students are not meant to pay council tax. So if you're staying in a university accommodation or a private student accommodation, you would not pay council tax. But if you're staying in a private accommodation and the landlord does not give consideration to the fact that you are a student, you may have to pay council tax. And you may not blame these people. This is because if the landlord owns like a 5-bedroom apartment, he as a landlord is either he has to pay the council tax on behalf of you guys, which is what he's going to bill you from the rent, or he's going to let all of you share the council tax, all of you in the flat to share. And you cannot now come and say that, oh, I'm a student, so I cannot pay the council tax. Why did you take my apartment? Why did you not allow somebody who can pay council tax to come and pay? Trust me, the council tax is expensive. It could range from £50 to £100 a month, and you don't want to get into that mess if you're not sure. So I would advise that if you're taking an apartment with your friends and all of you are students, ask that the council tax be waived for you. Inform the landlord that you all are students and you want the council tax to be waived. Otherwise, pick a private accommodation, a private student accommodation, or a university accommodation, so you avoid drama. Bills. Me, when I hear bills like this, I don't like it. So that you avoid drama. So that's it with the council tax issue. Make sure you confirm, because it's a big deal. And because the thing is, landlords want to give out their houses, and they don't really care if you're a student or not. They're not going to make exceptions for you because you're a student, except the accommodation that they built is for students. If it is not for students, if it's for random people, then they are going to treat you like a random person, okay? And you're not going to be assured of all the benefits that comes with being a student, which is why you have to be cautious. Those are the major things you need to put into consideration when you are considering whether to take a university hall, or a private student accommodation, or a private apartment in the city. So before I leave, what I'm going to tell you is that beware of scammers. There are so many people who will tell you that they know the best accommodation for you and will ask you to pay money when you are not either in London, you're not in that city, you can't see the accommodation. They will not even allow somebody to come and see. They will guarantee you that everything is perfect, that you are, in fact, that you are the best candidate, you are the best occupant for that apartment. They have scammed a lot of people. Do not be scammed though. Just be careful. Do not give out any money. Don't even make deposits of an accommodation if you are not sure of what you are getting. You don't know that person. You don't know anybody that knows that person. The person was not referred to you by a reliable source. Be careful, because a lot of students have been scammed, especially international students. Also, know that if you're going to be sharing apartments with people that you do not know, consider your hygiene, because even us in student accommodation, in shared flats, you still have to be careful and make sure that people clean after themselves and all of that. And in some student accommodation, they even enforce, they come to check if you have cleaned your apartment maybe weekly or every other week. That helps to maintain the sanity and makes it clean. But if you're in a private accommodation where there are no inspections, nobody cares about your hygiene, and you're living with random people who do not think that cleanliness is next to godliness, you are going to regret it. It's either you're going to regret it or you are going to do the cleaning by yourself. I've had my colleagues tell me how their flatmates have not been cleaning and they have to do all the cleaning by themselves. You know how other people will just mess up the place for you? And because you're a clean person, you will not be able to do anything except that place is clean, and you end up doing the cleaning by yourself. You have to be careful, okay? That's why I would always advise, before you decide to move into an apartment that people that you don't know are, please be careful. You could even go and check out the place. If you go and check out the place and it's neat, or you know that people here are clean. But if you're going to check out a place and it is dirty and there are people living there, what is your guarantee that when you move in that it will be clean? Except you will be the one to be cleaning the place now. So that's basically it. So that's what you have to take into consideration before you make your choice. And if you're a family person, you're going to be coming to the UK with your family, I know that there are some private student accommodation that have student apartments, premium rooms, studio apartments that accommodate more than 2 people in a room for family and all. Make sure you explore those options as well. Otherwise, you can just go for a private apartment in the city. But by all means, make yourself comfortable, do what suits you, and ensure that you give yourself the best, because like I always tell people, you're going to be staying there for the better part of your academic period, and it's going to play a big role on how you are your comfort, or how you define your comfort, or how you're going to be comfortable throughout your time in school. So that's it. If you're given any contract, make sure you read through it and understand. If you don't understand the basics of the contract, make sure you give other people that will help you interpret. I'm telling you guys now, I just hope that you're listening, because I've been hearing too many stories. Accommodation drama. Some people want to leave the accommodation, they cannot leave. Some people want, like this year now, COVID, we have a lot of people, a lot of students have been asking for rent reduction. Undergrads who stayed in university halls were lucky enough to get 30% rent reduction. It didn't apply to postgrads who stayed in only postgraduate accommodation. But you can't even go and tell a private landlord that one, that I'm a student, so I need a reduction. I said, wait, like, as how? So you see, those things are very important for you to put into consideration. And especially university accommodations, they think about the student safety. They make safety guidelines and all of that, things that will make you safe, social distancing and all. But I think if you're in a private accommodation, you have to sort all those things out by yourself. So basically, that's it, my people. Thank you so much for staying tuned to the end of this video. Do well to give this video a thumbs up if this video has helped you so far. Do not ignore. Drop your girl a comment in the comment section. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. I'll do well to respond. If you have any requests about student accommodation, any video requests, any questions you'd like me to address, drop it in the comment section. I already said I'm not going to be making videos you guys don't want, okay? Because I need you guys to value the content. So when you request, I will make, and when I think, oh, this video is going to be helpful, I will do it, okay? And until I catch you in my next video, keep watching other videos of mine. Bye bye. Let me, like, so for instance, okay, an instance is, what am I saying?